into
Yep.
the heat. Yep.
Yep. I have just not to slow down the train, but I have an interesting story about Florida weather. So we went to Disney World a few years. Well, it's been a while now, but we went to one of the water parks, and it was crowded, massively crowded at Disney at the water park, and then it just started downpouring, you know, and so everybody just took off. We hung out. We hung out in the water park, and then by the time, like, it was probably about 30 minutes, the skies cleared up, and it was kind of like we had the entire park all to ourselves.
That's cool.
Yeah, no more waiting in line to go down the slide. Just keep going. Just keep going.
You knew, like, just hang tight, man. Weather's
Yep.
gonna change. Just
Yep.
hang 10.
Yep. So sorry about that rant. Without further ado, Wendy, enlighten us on charisma and confidence.
Hello. Thank you, Doug. Okay, so I work a lot in charisma, and one of the precursors to charisma is confidence. So I end up throwing that in the mix as well, because sometimes when we're trying to be charismatic with people and magnetic, it's not going to go well if we don't have that core competency of exuding confidence in what we're doing. And what happens a lot with entrepreneurs that I'm seeing is we are used to dealing with people that we meet face to face. And then we take our usual way of acting and interacting to the camera, and we act like our normal selves, which is very commendable. But the camera requires a little something extra from us that doesn't occur in wide open spaces when we're meeting with people one-on-one. So what I like to do is I like to focus people on certain charisma killers that go on naturally whenever a camera lens is capturing us. And I try to just make everyone aware of what they are and show them a few tips and tricks on how to get rid of these charisma killers, right? Before we jump into that, I want to point out what confidence is and what charisma is. There's a lot of different ways to look at it and a lot of different ways to think about it. And I like to take a simple approach that gives people a way to jump off in a lot of different avenues and directions with it. Confidence is a solo dance. It's something you do on your own, with yourself, for yourself, by yourself. Charisma is a partner dance. Charisma is not something we give ourselves. It's not something we have. Charisma is something that is given to us by our audience, by the partner we're speaking with, by another person. So there is a solo act going on in getting confident, and there's a partner act going on to have charisma. So one of the things that happens on camera, right? The camera always, the camera has its own way of seeing us, and it's highly accurate. Highly accurate. So if there's the slightest little nuance that I'm exuding on my face, that I'm a little unconfident of what I'm saying, right? And we're pulling that jaw tight and the smile gets lengthened this way, the tiniest bit. These micro expressions are accurately captured by the lens, and it translates over to our audience as, this person is really not that confident, which is a bummer, because a lot of times people are hiring us for our expertise, and we need to be confident. And in a lot of ways, most people I work with are confident people. But the way the camera captures us just makes it get a little squirrely. So I like to just simplify everything, and I put together a list of 9 of the most common charisma killers. And I'm going to share 3 of them with you here today.
Awesome.
All right. So charisma on camera. First off, let me commend you, Doug, because I came up with my little list here, and I did not share these with you, did I?
No, you have
No,
not.
I think I offered to you, hey, I'll give you a few tips if you want beforehand so that, you know, you can be doing these things right or demonstrate doing them wrong. And you were like, no, I don't need that. And it's true because you've got these things going on well today.
Thanks.
So I'm going to use you as a good example for doing it well. All right.
Awesome.
The first thing I want us to do with making sure our charisma can carry to camera is eliminate ceilings from the view. You don't have a ceiling, right? We can't see your ceiling. You can't see my ceiling, right? You just have a blue wall behind me. You've got a white wall and a corner giving you depth. That gives you a little more depth, right? I have a piece of furniture coming out of this direction. It gives people depth on a camera as opposed to a flat wall. One of the other things you do well is you move around on your screen. You stand and deliver, and that gives you a little more animation than most people get sitting still to deliver what they're talking about. But the camera sees ceilings, and it gives the effect psychologically to the viewer that there is a human in a box.
Wow.
And humans don't like to see boxes on other humans. They don't like humans in a box. We don't like humans in cages and boxes and confined. And most of what you're trying to do is make people grow and learn something. So there needs to be this ceilingless way that you convey yourself to camera. So the number one way I recommend getting rid of charisma killers is to get rid of the ceiling. Just don't show it in the frame.
Nice.
Was that a surprising one?
It was. It's kind of unintentional with the way that I've been doing it, but I can definitely see how having a ceiling in the view just would really throw things off. So, yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of these things don't make you look terrible, but they just kind of nip away at your charisma. They nip away at your audience in a way that they go, oh, I've seen this guy before, and he's always trapped in a box. I think subliminally people don't come out right and say, oh, look, he's in a box. I'm not going to watch this go live. That's not it at all. But subtly, the person receives the message that this person is confined. And it just puts people in an uncomfortable position over time. And most of what we're trying to do on camera is get eyes to say yes to us, which leads to us making money or having money exchanges with people. And in order to get eyes, yes, and money, you've got to keep your audience in a position where they can say yes. And so psychologically, if we're, kind of predisposed to say no to humans in boxes, then let's not put a ceiling on, right? So that's one of the 9 charisma killers. Don't put ceilings in the frame.
Thank you. That is a really good tip.
Yeah. Hopefully it's one that's a little easier to correct, and it kind of goes with the other 2 I have here. The next one you have going on really well today, so I commend you for that. And I work hard on this and get a lot of feedback on it. I'm going to move a little closer to the frame. This gets scary. The next part we want to do is make sure that our eyeballs are showing 2 white dots. And by 2 white dots, I don't mean the whites of your eyes.
Oh.
Right? There's a little tiny dot in between your pupil and your iris. That's a reflection of light.
Yeah, I see that going around
Can
now.
Until
I focused on it, I really didn't notice it, but I totally get it. Like
subtle stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So when you watch a Hollywood movie or a TV show and they have actors on it, like that Law and Order one, or like there's a murder mystery and the detective